was young, they told me I should put the pencil away. I gotta color the picture because
You're listening to the Pickleball Lounge podcast, Toledo's home for all things pickleball. News, tips, and local action served weekly. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Pickleball Lounge podcast. I'm your host, Eli Williams, and this week we have got a special episode. We're sitting here with some of Holland royalty when it comes to pickleball. If you're from the area or the area surrounding, you've probably heard of my guests. I'll have them introduce themselves. But when it comes to pickleball, they're at the forefront of this area. I thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you don't mind, just kind of tell us your name, how you got into pickleball, and then we'll kind of get into it all together. So starting with you, go ahead.
Hi, Eli. Thanks for having us. My name is Mike Yunker. I'm the former mayor of Holland for 28 years. I started pickleball here in our Strawberry Acres Park back in 2013 after discovering it down in Florida. So I came back here, and it was a nice long version of how we end up with 7 courts in a beautiful park right now. And eventually Brian, my son, came on to play, and then Aaron came on to play after that. And it's an evolution of how pickleball kind of formulated and became such a popular sport here in Holland.
Did you play down in Florida? Is that kind of what got you interested to bringing it up here?
Yes, I did. Actually, what had happened is my wife and I, after I retired in 2011 from the police force in Sylvania, we started going to Florida for our vacations, snowbirds, if you will.
Sure.
So we started going down there in the winter months, and the first year we were down there in 2013, we're walking through the park, and we hear this pop, pop, pop sound. I thought, what is that?
Right.
So we started walking until we got closer to it, and we saw a group of seniors playing over there in this miniature tennis court. So I thought, well, that looks pretty interesting. Let's go over there and see what this is about. So we went ahead and walked over there, and we started watching them. We could see it wasn't a tennis court. It was very small, and they were playing with a wiffle ball. So we sat down on the bench and started watching it. And these people, they're in their 60s and 70s, but they were having a ball. They were laughing and hitting the ball and playing back and forth. So I got talking to one of them, and I said, what is this? He goes, oh, this is pickleball. I said, pickleball. Never heard of that before.
All right.
And so we decided, we got to try this. And they said, well, they give lessons on every Tuesday. And so we decided going to lessons on the following Tuesday. So we went over to the courts, and there was a guy there in his 80s, a German guy named Hans. And he was, a straight talker and a no BS type of guy. And he was teaching everybody how to play. And then after he's done playing, he would tell the players, you're okay, you go over and play 7th Street. But when Annie and I, my wife, got through playing, he goes, Mike, you and Annie are pretty good. You stay here on 8th Street with us.
There you go.
So we did, and we played the rest of the week. Well, as I got playing and then went over and talked to these people, I started realizing, I come from an era of sports, and my age group will be the first age group that comes up through our years, having played sports from Pee Wee baseball to junior high to high school, softball afterwards, racquetball, volleyball, and all that. And then when you all of a sudden get up into your 50s and 60s, it's like, okay, what is there for us to do?
Right.
There wasn't much out here. So when I saw pickleball, I had this instant vision that this is going to fill the gap. This is going to fill the need for people of my generation to still play sports with the bodies we have that,
Right.
are used and abused, and they can still get out there and get some exercise and move around, but we're not going to kill ourselves
Right.
doing it. So we decided to, I told my wife, I said, when I get back, I said, I'm going to start and I'm going to build some courts in Holland. And so we came back, and right away I started researching pickleball in the Northwest Ohio area. The only pickleball that was being played at the time was Toledo Pickleball. So I made some calls and got in contact with Marcia and Connie, and they were pickleball ambassadors for the area, which I'd never heard of before. So we went ahead and had some meetings set up, and I said, tell me how you guys got started, how do you build these, and give me some instruction on how to get this thing going. And so Connie went out of her way to show us, you know, what their cost was, what the dimensions of courts, how they get started, who builds pickleball courts. So I went ahead and brought it up to our council. You know, at the time, nobody's ever heard of pickleball. So at one of our meetings, I said, hey, this is what I'd like to do. I want to do some improvements to our park, and I want to build pickleball courts. And they said, pickle what?
Yeah.
I said, pickleball courts. And I said, pickleball. I said, I'm telling you, this is going to be a fad around here if we build these, because it's something to give seniors, people in their 50s and 60s at that time, I was saying, a sport to play, one they can play without getting too injured or anything. And so as I started explaining to them and the costs and all that, well, we had a pretty good village council, and they were supportive of me in most of the things I did. So they said, yeah, let's go for it. So first thing we did, and we started this in like May, and I contacted Courtsmith. I said, I want to get 2 courts out here built right away. And so we put it on the schedule for June to get these built. And then we also had an old tennis court. Nobody played on it.
Right.
You know, just like a lot of the tennis courts, weeds growing through it and all that stuff. So we went ahead and resurfaced that. And so we started out with 3 courts. We had our double court and then the single one by itself. So I thought, okay, now I got to get some people out here to play, because other than the Toledo Pickleball Club, we didn't have anybody else out here.
Right.
So I did a news conference, and I invited all the news media and said, hey, we're bringing this thing called pickleball to Holland. You ought to come out and tape it for your news segment. Well, they did. We had all 3 of the news stations out here and some others. They came out and they had fun with it. I mean, their broadcasts are like, you ever heard of pickleball? You know, and some of their newscasters got out there and tried to hit the ball, and so they had fun with it. And so we started out, and I had a nice group of people, because we advertised it in the paper, and we did some other things to bring some people out. We told the Toledo Pickleball Club, and so they came out and actually did a demonstration for us. So that day we started out with 16 pickleball players that signed up to play.
Right.
So we went ahead, and that's how we got started with it then. And a month later, we had a storm that came through, toppled a bunch of trees. Our brand new courts, tree came down, smashed the fence, gouged up the surface. So we went ahead and called up the crews, got it all cleaned up, and then when they removed all the debris, we had all these gouges on our brand new pretty court. So called up Courtsmith, said, hey, come on back out. We need you to fix all this, make it pretty again, which they did. So that started our first segment of the pickleball courts. And then by the end of that summer, we had 65 people join the club. Well, that came out and wanted to play. So I formed a club, because I said, I can't manage all this here. I need, a club to do it. So the regular members that were out there, I said, okay, you're going to be president, you're going to be vice president, you'll be secretary, you'll be treasurer. We're going to do this club. You're going to organize it. We charge $20 a year for membership, and that's just to cover balls. So that way we don't have to worry about anybody bringing their own balls. So we did that, and then that winter, by the end of the season, we have over 65, 70 people coming out playing. And then all of a sudden we're stopped, and it's cold and it's winter out, and then they're going, well, what do we do now? We've got to have a place to play. So using my mayoral influence, I contacted the manager at WPOS. I said, hey, we've got this deal going with pickleball players, and everybody's playing. Now we want to go ahead and get inside somewhere and play. Right. And so we made some arrangements for them, and they allowed us to tape off their basketball court on certain days of the week. And so we got to continue all the way through the winter, which they're still doing today as proclaimed. They're still playing today. Yeah. And so that's been good. So next year rolls around. springtime and we're starting to play. We got 3 courts. All of a sudden now we have 150 members. And nobody else, no other community around is doing pickleball other than Toledo Pickleball Club.
In the Rossford.
Yeah. Well, Toledo, yeah,
In
Toledo was in,
Pickleball, that's
yeah,
Rossford.
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
it's in Rossford.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, so what we did then is need more courts, so I called Courtsmith up again. We built 2 more courts and then eventually another court on top of that. So now we have 7 courts, but now our membership is getting up over 200 and still hardly anybody else around is playing pickleball. So I had this idea. I said, okay, I'm going to invite all the other political subdivisions, Maumee, Perrysburg, Sylvania, Swanton, Delta, all these communities. And I said, and I did a big news release and advertisement, pickleball orientation on Holland courts. All the public officials are going to be there, made a big deal out of it. Sure. So all the news media came out and we did another segment on pickleball. We even got some of the mayors of different communities and, you know, of course the news media, they have their certain favorite people they like to follow in politics. Right. And watching them miss the ball and, you know, not being able to get to it was hilarious. So, but it promoted it. So all this, and then I, of course, did a little speech to all the community leaders. I said, listen, this is the up and coming, fastest growing sport you're going to see. You all need to start getting on board and building courts in your community. Because we had people come from Delta, from Lime, Ohio. We had them coming from all over to play here. And so I said, you know, we enjoy doing this, but we have too many people. You need to build your own. So then one by one, the community started building their own. I would get calls to go out and speak to different council meetings, township trustee meetings. I even went up in Michigan, did a presentation to their parks and boards places, and they all started then doing the pickleball court. They started building more and more. And so as we got going through all this, more courts started building up in the different areas. But one thing I found is that I wasn't expecting is when pickleball started and everybody started playing in these little groups and it became a real social event. So not only did it satisfy the physical needs of seniors wanting to get out and play and get exercise and move around, but it created this social environment where now you got all these people that used to sit home on the couch and do nothing. Now they're up playing pickleball and they're going out to dinner and going on trips and doing all these other things. And it was funny because then there was a transition where we said, you know, there's some younger players that kind of want to play, but when they'd come out, they would always say, oh, that's an old fogey's game. We're not going to get out there and play. They did. And I must have heard that so many times. Well, then we started receiving calls from gym teachers and people at the school that, hey, why don't you come out and teach our gym class or teach it to this education center or something. St. Ursula brought a busload of girls out one day on a Saturday to learn pickleball. The club instructed them and showed them, and they had a great time. But then you start seeing the infusion of younger players in their 40s and 30s, people that have played a lot of racquetball, a lot of tennis. They were starting to come out. So then the whole thing kind of shifted. You had the older people, seniors playing, but then you had this new version of young people like yourself and Brian Aaron coming out and really upping the game and making it competitive.
I think young person.
Yeah, you're still young.
So seeing that, Brian, you know, you go out there and it's a bunch of senior folks playing. What made you really get into it? Just because your dad's playing?
Yeah, he brought me into it, and when it opened up and stuff, and a lot of fun. It gets addictive.
Yeah.
Starting to play that game, everybody knows. But there's a challenge for me. Most of you know I lost my eyesight in a motorcycle accident. So out there hitting the ball and trying to move around, it was a challenge. So I just had to put it all into it.
Yeah.
And really get serious. And
What made you take? Well, obviously we all like playing rec ball. What made you take it? Because you played tournaments. You guys play tournaments together or have. What made you say, all right, I'm going to take it a little bit serious and give it all I've got? Was it more the fact that you just like it, you're playing it enough, all right, let's just throw everything we have at it?
I played for a little while, and then there's always a group ahead of you, you know, a little better than you.
Right.
So I always try to get in that group, and like if they're a shorter person, they let you in a couple games
Right.
and get your butt whooped. It's like, wow, more to this game, and
Right.
it just pulls you back in, right? So yeah, just doing that multiple times in multiple groups, and next thing you know, you're pretty good yourself, you know, and
Yeah.
it's like you gotta challenge yourself, go to tournaments and travel around, meet different people, and that connects you to everything.
Yeah. I mean,
Good
it's
time.
still like you guys know this, but like when you'll play all these rec games and then you finally do your first tournament, it's kind of a shock to the system to like, okay, I don't play these people regularly, and I'm getting my butt whooped at these tournaments. So now not only do you have to be on top of your game at home, now you have to be even better away, and being on a court you're not used to plays into that. And before we go on, I want to say we are filming this out of the Yunkers barn here in Holland. How does it feel playing together as a couple in these tournaments? Is it a strength to know one of each other so well, or is it a bit of a
All right,
weakness as
so
well?
the first time we ever played at dating, we were
Okay.
just friends. It was the Caddy, and it was 4-5 plus. I think there was only one
4-5
4-5
open, yeah.
team that group.
Yeah.
That's the one we beat.
Okay.
We didn't beat the
There's some
5-0s.
are 5-0s, yeah.
But I didn't know he was blind, and he was left-handed.
Imagine how that
so the
went.
middle was a little messed
Playing
up.
against 5-0s.
So that was
Yeah,
our
that would be
first.
pretty good to know if your partner's blind.
I used to play the left, like just backhand in the middle, and
Okay.
he could see me left.
Right.
And my backhand's better than my forehand, so
That's an interesting dynamic, actually.
So
it
it
is
was
because
weird.
everybody, you can hear them going, hey.
Right,
you know,
yeah,
we
it's the
and that-
middle's
That's
open.
my strength, right?
Right.
Come on.
I mean, yeah, you have to play to your strength, especially with condition, I guess. So blindness is a for sure a condition, but
So I brought something so you got an idea.
okay,
So I taped off everything I cannot see normally.
okay.
So if you wear them,
Oh no,
if you wear them, that's what I see
That's a
on the
lot of
court.
tape. Let's see here. Oh goodness, this
So,
whole side you're in
yeah.
trouble.
That's why, if I play with partners, I gotta let them know, you gotta take the middle really strong, or
I mean, that's a full side is pretty much missing.
Yeah.
What
And-
other parts
and
of life?
lower.
What other parts of life does it really affect you on?
um,
Driving, I could see, is a big one.
yeah, pretty much everything, anything you do.
Do you have to do anything special to counteract, or you kind of just live with it?
It's been since 2002, so.
Oh, you've
kinda-
had it a while.
Yeah, I've gotten used.
So a motorcycle accident. It's
Yeah, a car pulled out in front of me,
Oh no.
doing 50 mile an hour.
How did you just hit glass or?
I flew over the car. I flew like 170 something feet in the air. Road tumbled. Severed vertebrae in my neck, ribs, broken ribs, broken collarbone, split open my skull, brains hanging out.
Okay,
10% chance to live.
really?
Give you
That's
that 10%.
I don't know what the vein that runs from your heart to your brain got severed, and usually it clot up and cut off all the blood. They weren't going to work on me, right? And I lived for so long, and they decided to work on me and pulled through.
What's that like for you? Him going through all that?
Well, I tell you what it was like. I was at the time umpiring a game out at the Springfield Community Park. Middle of the game, and all of a sudden another umpire comes out and stops the game, which I didn't understand what he was doing. Comes up and whispers, goes, "Son Brian's just hospital. He can go." So I hurry up, switched out, headed up to the hospital. Called my wife and said, "Meet me." I can't remember what hospital it was.
It was the old MCO,
Yeah,
or it was
yeah.
MCO at the
Yeah,
time. it's something else
UTMC.
now.
Okay.
So I went up there and got in there. I knew he was in a motorcycle crash, didn't know what else. So when I got in there and finally got to speak with the in charge ER doctor, they had to bring in a specialist, and it was a brain surgeon. And so after he got Brian's x-ray and looked at everything, and he came out and he says, "This is what's going on." He goes, the most serious part of your son's condition is his brain is swelling so bad. Because we have to wait a day or two before we can even do surgery. And so he told me, he goes, and here's what's going to happen. He goes, I've done a lot of these motorcycle crashes. He weighs the same. He says, we're going to have to cut a square peg out of his skull and lift it off and allow the bleeding and the cleanup. And he goes, unfortunately, what's going to happen when I do this is your son is going to bleed to death. Even right now, it's emotional for me to think about that.
Makes me shake hearing about it.
Yeah. And so we waited the day. Next day or two, we went in for the scheduled surgery. Of course, the family and everybody's there, and we're not expecting good results. So I'll come to the doctor, and he said, well, I've got good news. And I hope. And he goes, we lifted it off, and he said it was like the hand of God on his brain. Nothing bled out. All they did is cleaned it all up, put the scalp back in place, zipped it up, and he goes, you're going to survive this. So unfortunately, I didn't know about the vision until later. Brian and I played a lot of pickleball. We started tournaments together. We're playing the tournaments, and he kept missing a lot of shots, and I kept, Brian, you got to get better. Come on, you can do it. Come on. Well, unbeknownst to me, he couldn't see out of most of his eye area and stuff. But he got better and better and better and stuff. And it was an experience that I'll never forget.
Right. It's the vision is a small thing to lose in such a bad accident. Now the real question is if you've been on a motorcycle since.
Oh yeah, I rode for years after.
Really?
I just stopped riding 5 years ago.
What do you think about that, Dad?
He still rides.
Well, I still ride.
Okay.
Even though my wife was always telling me, when are you going to sell that thing? And every time there's a crash, I mean, Brian and I have ridden together our Harleys quite a few times, and he even sold his Harley to my older brother Bob. And then we take a motorcycle trip. He lives in Arkansas, and I met him, and we went down to Florida when my other son was living down, who bought a new Harley. And so, we've been kind of a Harley crew all of our lives.
Hard to get out of that.
Yeah, it is hard to get out of. But one thing you learn how to be a really good defensive driver, because you could do all the obeying of all traffic laws, but you get the other guy that's not watching, paying attention. So one of the things I stress to people I ride with is, these certain things I have that are just habits of mine. Ride to the left at certain times, ride to the right at certain times. Don't give yourself space so no car comes out and crashes.
Right.
So there's a whole bunch of things I go through when I ride. So I feel pretty good about it. And then, when I moved to Florida 7 years ago, I didn't take the Harley with me down there because it's so busy down there.
Right.
Plus the salt air and stuff. So I kept it back here, and that's where we just moved back last month full time again.
Okay.
So we're back here, old.
Yeah.
Where I
it's a
don't
bad
normally.
time to move
I'm not
back
used
to.
to wearing hooded sweatshirts.
Yeah.
He's been here a month now.
Yeah,
that's too
So
bad.
the first thing I asked when I come in, you got the heat on? I'm used to that Florida sunshine, that warm weather. I'm not used to this cold, chilly area here. But
I'm the opposite. We just got back from Florida like 3 weeks ago, and I went down there. I'm like, this is way too hot. I prefer to be cold anyway. So I go down there, and I'm sweating the whole time. I'm like, how is anyone comfortable here?
Yeah, well, that was a big change I had, because when I left here, I was playing pickleball 3 times a week with Tom Wells and his group, that 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. group at Toledo Pickleball Club, and we'd go. 4 hours was nothing. It's no big deal to play. I go down there, and after we moved down there, after an hour and a half, it's like you're sweating, you're exhausted. Like, how long have I been playing? At least 3 hours. No, you haven't been playing 60 minutes yet. So you can't play longer than 2 hours down there most of the time. And and it was different. One thing I do miss, because this region around here, this Holland, Toledo area, has a lot of really high-skilled pickleball play. I mean, they're all over here. Unfortunately, when I went down there, city of Key Colony Beach, they didn't have a lot of great pickleball players. They had a few here and there, but it was hard to get good games in. So you're always playing with mid-level players. And Now I come back here and it's like, man, I got a lot of catching up to do.
Sure,
At
yeah.
my age, I don't know if I can catch up.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah. So it's been a difference coming back here and just seeing all the new players and then Brian and Aaron will invite me over here at the barn once in a while and they'll bring over some players and get some games.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's different.
Oh,
So.
yeah, it certainly is. I've never played pickleball in Florida. The places that, like the big hubs of pickleball, that's like where pros want to be. I'm sure those areas are much different than it is around here. But I want to talk about the barn. You guys, tell us why. You have courts right across the street. Why'd you want one in your backyard? Well, besides the obvious, pickleball can never be too close.
Right.
But other than that,
I had it built during COVID because everything closed down. I was playing with a couple people over at a church parking lot where we off some. Like I should just build it,
Yeah.
and then everybody can come play that wants to.
was it a? Was
And
it
it
a?
got really expensive. It started out, it was
Yeah.
going to be a really good priced facility,
And then
and then
COVID.
it got really, really
COVID
expensive
hit and
because of
everything went
COVID.
triple, double, triple.
Yeah, and I was kind of waiting for a little bit, and then the builder finally said, you might just want that. The prices aren't coming down.
Okay.
We
Was it
built this.
Was
and
it a
then-
rush for everyone to get into here once it was built? Did
No,
it
it's
seem?
kind of funny. So people didn't really know about it. So Mark Grimes, the first people that ever played in here were Brian, Mark Grimes, and Leslie Gill.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so one day we go down to the park and it's really crowded. It was I think Tom Wells group, and you just couldn't get on the courts. And Mark Grimes says, well, why don't like 5 of you go to the barn play? People didn't know about the barn.
They're
They're
like,
like,
the barn?
they're like, I don't
play
want to
in
go
a
to the barn.
Right,
Like, why would
yeah.
I want to go to the barn and play? And he's like, trust me, just go to the barn and play. And finally, a few people at the barn, because Mark's like, well, I'm going to go to the barn. Who's coming to the barn? And they walked in and they're like, oh, this is the barn.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how it kind of got started. Brian was in the barn before we even had the court paint. I built this a couple. We're really good
Okay.
friends first.
Yeah.
And there was insulation on the court for the like lines were taped off, but it was
Right.
some weird. Want to move insulation, heavy.
Big rolls of insulation.
Okay, yeah.
I'm thinking it's insulation, right?
Right. Can't
I
be
reach
that
down
heavy.
with one arm, go push it, my arm snaps.
What?
I snapped my distal bicep tendon.
Oh my goodness.
I thought he was kidding.
I was like, what is that? My
He's like,
bicep's
"Ow,
up in my
ow."
shoulder. I'm like, what's going on?
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God, that is disgusting. Because I thought he
Yeah.
was joking at first, and then I saw it. I'm like, that is gross. So yeah, he was out for a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say.
I started playing left-handed, but
Yeah, but not with us.
Yeah. Man, first pickleball injury wasn't even pickleball related. Is quite
well, kind
interesting.
of. It's
Yeah.
on pickleball court.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. And then he hadn't signed the contract. He refused to sign the
Oh,
contract.
Brian.
So we joke about it now that he was going to sue me or marry me to own the barn.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
I guess he did the latter of those two.
Right.
Fair enough. So you guys have this. You guys train all the time. Give me your highs and lows of training as a couple and traveling. Actually, you guys are one of the very first couples or people in general around this area to travel for tournaments, correct? As far as I know.
That actually play together.
Right.
Probably.
Yeah, tell us about it. What's it like? At that time, not everyone was traveling like we are now. It seems like every weekend, one of us in our group is traveling somewhere to play. What's it like?
So I actually traveled early on when I played. Like I started playing tournaments when I was 3-0.
Okay.
And then I won all those. Then I won 5, and then I'd go to 4-0 and was winning all those. It took me a while to jump to 4-5 because I was. But like I even played in Virginia. Like I always traveled to play. And you
And she
and
met
I.
me, and I hate traveling.
And he doesn't like to travel, so we don't travel more than 2 hours normally
Okay.
to play anymore.
That seems fair.
Well, part of
Yeah.
it was that Cincinnati tournament. Was that 3 hours, three and a half
2.5
hours away?
hours, yeah.
You know, yeah. What's
and then
what?
you go and you
Yeah.
lose, and then you have to
Yeah.
come home.
I
Oh,
drove
I've done
3
that.
hours there, 3 hours back, and
Yeah.
Yeah. But one of my rules playing with my spouse that I think other spouses would have trouble with is, like, when you're married to someone, you think you can talk to them.
Sure.
So when you play with
Or
your
direct them.
spouse, you don't say anything to them that you wouldn't say to any other partner
Yeah.
that you would play with. Like,
Yeah.
I would never roll my eyes at another partner.
Right.
I would never
Yeah.
say, like, you need to hit it better. That was too hot. You just don't say things
Right.
like it's obvious.
Which is extremely hard for couples not to do. That's why
Yeah.
so many
Yeah.
don't play together.
Well, it doesn't work for spouses or your partner.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
I can play with my wife.
Doesn't bring
We
them
have
up.
this 2-game limit.
Okay.
Maybe sometimes we'll make 3 games, but
Yeah.
we play 1 game, and because I'm conscious of this, so I don't say a word.
Yeah.
Next thing she's yelling at me. I said, I didn't say anything. She goes, I know what you were thinking.
Yeah. Your body language.
so, it's like-
Yeah.
so we have 2-game, 3-game limit, and then we have to separate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife and I have a 2-game limit, but it's like 2 games a year. That's how we
Oh,
are.
that's bad.
Yeah. Yeah. She is. I'm competitive. She's competitive 10 times as much as I am, and she's not as good, and it gets frustrating for her. And then I'm scared, and it's not worth it. We enjoy being. She watches me, and that's how we get along. That's how it is. But yeah, go on, Aaron.
I was gonna say the difference between Brian and I is we played as just friends for a few years,
Right.
like just as friends, and we played rec against each other, with everybody else. So then becoming his partner was just like any other day that I'd be
Right,
playing
it's
with
natural.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when we became a couple, I said, if you ever don't want to play with me, just say it. I'd rather just not play than to fight about it.
Right. Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah. So we're okay. Like, we can play with other partners if we
Right.
want to. I enjoy playing with them.
Yeah, I mean, as long as your partner, that's what it comes down to. If you're not having fun, then you probably need a break or change of scenery or partner or things like that. I think a lot of people just stay in there with the same partner over, especially in rec, and it's extremely frustrating. They go home upset. I got to a point where I would go home after playing 4 hours and be mad. I'm like, why am I playing if I'm mad?
It's supposed to be
I'm taking
fun.
it too serious. It's rec play. I'm playing against people that are my friends. I should probably tone it down a bit. But then it comes a time where you do want to take it serious, and you don't want to go to these tournaments and get absolutely worked over, right?
Especially if you drive 3 hours.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
I drove to Grand Rapids. I think that's 3.5 hours, Grand Rapids, Michigan. And it was a 2-game. If you lose 2 games, you're done. I lost the first 2, and I was out of there in 45 minutes.
Right.
So
Yeah, and that's a tough tournament.
yeah, yeah, sure is. And the next year we medaled, but that's besides the point. I drove 3.5 hours, paid $80 to get 2 losses. And at that time, I don't know how much you guys care about your duper. Duper was a lot better if you lose or win, that type of thing. It was strictly losses. I mean, we got pickled both games, so the duper didn't do too well there.
Yeah,
I
people
had
are,
to quit thinking about duper and if I win or lose and what do people think of me if I lose
Yeah.
this, and I have this to prove to people. And so now when I play tournaments, I just go out there to have fun and I pretend it's rec. If it's not fun, why am I doing it?
Right. Yeah, I think a lot of people have a hard time when they go to tournaments seeing the fun in it. They see, all right, let's get to business, and then as soon as they get on the court, everything tenses up, and they are not the same person they are back at home. I'm sure you guys have.
And I'm not saying that never happens.
Right.
I do.
yeah,
Nerves
early
set
on,
in.
That was bad early on. Couldn't serve the ball. It's
Really?
like,
Yeah. Yeah,
But you get used to it.
you do. I actually look forward to the pressure anymore. If I don't feel the pressure, it kind of takes the fun out of it. But I remember very early on, a year and a half or so ago, I'd get to tournaments and it was like I was about to give a speech to 100,000 people. I was like, I've never seen the pickleball before. It seemed like I was on a tennis court. The courts were so big, but it's just funny how nerves get to you when you're outside of your comfort zone, which is
Right.
great about pickleball. There's so much good about it, and I think the pressure is good. People need that. They need to feel it. And like you were saying, it gives all these senior folks who have played sports their whole lives have now reached a point where, okay, all these are too active, too physical for me. Now pickleball's here. We can get out, play a little bit together, and still have that competitive edge to each day. I think that's what you were trying to say earlier.
Yeah, and it's the same. That's why the skill levels are a good thing, and age groups are a good thing, because you'll go to some of these complexes. Like recently, I've been playing out at Keener Park, and I notice out there you've got certain groups that play, and they congregate to one another, and they put their 4 paddles up, and they like to play because they're similar age, similar competitive skill levels, and so they enjoy playing. And then you have other groups where you get, maybe 3 courts going of really highly competitive. I got to play with some of them just a week or 2 ago. That's when I realized, man, these guys are really up their game.
Yeah.
So it's the same in probably all the different community parks where, if you don't have a place to play, especially like in indoors, you're playing most all your pickleball in the summer outdoors. Some people shut down during the winter time, but what I found is that while they're playing during regular season, their social life is way up there. I mean, they're going out all the time, doing things together and stuff. Wintertime, they're back to shutting down unless they can find an indoor place to go to, because there's not nearly as many indoors as there are outdoors. So it makes a big difference, and it's for your health. People of the senior age, they've got to have that interconnection with other people and that activity and the moving around and keep that heart pumping and stuff. So pickleball has been great for that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to touch on one thing you said there was you'll get to these groups, and you were referring to it as, I think, a good thing, but it can be a bad thing, is you'll get to all these groups. Say you're a new player. You don't have any friends to come with, and you show up to these parks, and everyone's got their 4 they're playing with, whatever skill group. You guys live right across the street from Strawberry. You guys have your own court here. I want to phrase it. I think I would consider it pickleball politics or some sort of drama. Kind of tell us your experiences you guys have seen over there. Not specific ones, but how should a newer this is our new segment called Hot Wire.
I'll start out with this, because when we first started building the courts and they started getting going, we didn't know a whole lot about skill levels, and people coming in were mostly new. Then we started developing a lot of higher skilled players, and so what we did, we had 7 courts over there. We categorized them by skill level, because new players coming in, if they're a 2-5 player, they don't want to go to that 4-4-5 court. They want to go down to where and so we kind of herded them into their own skill level court, so they'd feel more comfortable playing. If you're a 3-0, playing with a 3-0, or 4-0, playing with a 4-0. So that way it categorized it, and it made it easy for them to realize, because if you come in brand new and don't know where to go, you're looking around thinking, what do I do? So this helped them direct on what courts to go to. And now they do it a little bit different with the paddle lineups and things, so it's a whole different system now. But it's still, you don't know who you're lining up next to.
Exactly.
And if you're a 4-0 player and you're playing with 2-0 or 2-5 players, it's an unbalanced game. It doesn't work out well. It always works out better if you have equal skills. And what I find, and what happened to me a lot down in Florida, I'd go down there and I'd get in with a group, and then they'd play pickleball bullying where you'd never get a ball. They'd hit it away from me because they wanted to win that game, and it didn't do anybody any good.
So as far as Brian and I, we have a really good time going down to the park and playing with people that are new. Not if we're going to practice for a tournament, and we'll just probably play here, play with our group, but we love to go down. And Sean Shepard was one of those people. When did he start? It was like last year maybe when he started playing, and we went down to that park, and him and some other person were playing, and they're like, well, we want to play you. And it was late at night.
Oh, I know exactly.
So
I was there.
Were you there?
I was there. His name was Sam.
Okay.
Yep.
And then he would say one more, like he'd score maybe 1 point, right?
He's
like, play again.
Like 10:30 at night.
And we stayed all night and played, and he's like, all right, one more, I'm gonna get 2 points.
Yeah,
and it was
I think they scored 3 at the most.
And that was really fun.
You hear that, Sean Shepard? Clip it.
Yeah, so that was really fun doing that, and we
Yeah.
love doing that. And we did that to Caleb and Mayan when they started.
Yeah.
They could maybe score 1 point, and it's great to see them grow too.
Right.
They're getting so good.
There's a few people we taught they're really good players now. It's fun to watch them grow like
Yeah.
that, you know,
Well,
being competitive. And,
with this barn, there's probably not a top-end player that hasn't played here in
Yeah.
this area, correct? I would assume.
yeah.
You have Jim Bronson come play here quite a
Yeah.
They
bit.
actually learned pickleball here.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I started playing here and was taught the game.
Wow. That's actually pretty interesting. I mean, he's our highest-rated player, I think, in
Yeah.
our area. It's just so odd. You come from not knowing what pickleball was to having a facility that has the best players, but you just have one court, and it's just because you guys liked it so much, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But they have a lot of friends now.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
All kinds of
That's-
friends
Yeah.
now.
We didn't have any
Right.
friends before, so
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did meet a lot
We're
of new
pretty cool
friends.
now.
If you build it, they will come type of thing.
Right.
Yeah, pickleball is such a big thing for community, I think, no matter the age. I think it could be good and bad. I think when you get a big group of people together, one, you'll find really good things, or you will eventually see how bad it can become. And I think it's the mindset that you go with it. If you're just having fun, treat everyone like wish someone would treat you, I think pickleball becomes a little bit friendlier to people who are just trying to get in. And I don't want to take too much of your time, but we do have a tradition here. I'm going to have all three of you sign this ball. It's everyone, I believe, has signed it, or close to. Everyone has signed it that has come on here. So you find a spot, you put your name, put whatever you want on there, and pass it down the line.
Oh,
This will
Okay.
probably be in a Hall of Fame one day,
Yeah.
so make sure
it'd
it's.
be
That's
worth a lot of money.
I would hope
Yeah.
so. Jim Bronson's name's on there, so we at least got one pro on there besides myself. Yeah, I really
But you haven't
appreciate.
played in how long?
It's been a minute actually. Yeah, I'm sure you guys have played for so long. Do you ever get to burn out?
I don't.
I
She
do.
quits on every few weeks.
Yeah.
I retire every couple of weeks.
Yeah,
For a
you
day.
just need to recharge.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can play all the time.
Brian, you're a lucky man. Well, you're already a lucky man having a pickleball court in your backyard. Best I can do is grass.
And it makes great for family winter events.
Exactly
If you want to play
right.
somewhere in the wintertime, we know who has the facility.
You know, here's a good question for you, Brian. Someone's coming into this barn. What's some etiquette that they need to know?
Don't spit on the court.
I knew you were going to say that. I remember that being a big thing when
Did
I
you
was.
see that
I did
sign?
see that. I'm like, who's doing that?
I couldn't believe it. I walked in here like 4 or 5 spit marks all over. I'm like, spitting on the court? I really got to do this?
Now that is quite
We-
something.
We could have looked at the camera, but I really
Yeah.
don't want to know who it was.
Right, it's
Because
probably
if it's
best
someone I
not to know.
really
So
So that's
like,
why we
I'd
put up
hate
a
to
sign
be
and
mad.
it hasn't happened since.
Okay.
So the sign worked.
Well, maybe they did. Yeah. Well, good. So no spitting. That's the big one.
Yeah,
Everything
no
else.
spitting, you know, in the wintertime. Take off your boots, you know, don't
Fair.
wear
All the
pickleball
salt.
shoes, court
Yeah.
shoes on the courts, you know.
Okay.
All the salt, yeah.
I
If
really-
you do something wrong, know that you're being recorded.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you beat me, you're probably not coming back. So keep that in mind.
Or it's going to be a little more expensive. Sean beat, clip it. Sean beat Brian.
That's back when I snapped my arm. I was playing left-handed. Oh,
Same thing, really. Well, thanks so much for coming on. Thanks for
Yeah,
telling
thanks
us
for
your
having us.
story.
Yeah, thanks for having us, and
Of
thanks
course.
for coming to the barn.
Absolutely. I've played many times here. I'm sure it won't be the last time I play. Thanks so much, guys, and thanks for listening, guys.